Hello, I'm Francesca Marcenaro, and I'm very happy and honored today to be in conversation with Yeena Yoon, one of my favorite contemporary jewelry designers and makers. Hello, Yeena, how are you?
Hello, hi Francesca. Thank you so much for creating this wonderful opportunity to sort of discuss our work and also share our passion in jewelry.
Thank you. We have been invited by the Goldsmiths Fair for the digital edition to talk about us, and we decided to talk about our passion for jewelry and also the importance of storytelling for us, making jewelry, and we like also to find the values of each other's works. First of all, thank you, Ina, to be with me today. I always been intrigued by your architectural design, which is very evident in your works. But I'd like to know more about your journey from your architectural education and making jewelry.
So I've been studying architecture in this country, and also been working in several architectural practices. And it was until I was working in my one of the practices called Zaha Did Architects, that's when I sort of opened my eyes to possibilities of design in various mediums, because the office was very brave. Zaha was very brave in understanding her strength as a designer, and she was not afraid to jump different scales to test her ideas. And by being in that space for over 5 years has definitely gave me a confidence to reflect that back into to my work. And that's when I actually started to design smaller scale, which was the jewelry. And it was when I was at the Goldsmiths Setting Out program later on, when I actually embarked in 2016, that's when I actually started to test my ideas a lot more rigorously. So this piece that you see in this video screen at the moment.
My favorite.
Yeah. It's called Covet Series. And it actually worked with two concepts, which was about the idea of monument and also the idea of versatility and hidden treasure. So it was using a raw stone, which is a jasper, and trying to find and unlock what the shape it wanted to be. And the whole pieces started from there. And then I brought this idea of hidden treasure where sort of I was interested in the interchangeable element of it, where the owners had a capacity to know where the jewels were hidden in this sculpture that is displayed, and be able to, pick and choose what to wear, but also what to display. And that sort of became the main kind of theme that I got interested in sort of designing and further expanding my design. And yeah, that's where it actually all began. Talking about the storytelling, I'm always very intrigued by your jewelry and where it comes from. And I would like to know where you get your inspirations from, and when did you actually get started to be interested in the idea of fairy tales in your jewelry?
Okay, fairy tales for me have always been a passion. I like fairy tales because there are secrets, adventure, power. They are never boring, and I don't like to be bored. And I like the idea of something happening, something exciting happening. And making jewelry for me is like imagining some fairies that pick up pieces from nature to adorn themselves, and every place has a different story. Every piece has its own place where it's born. The necklace that you see is inspired by the fairies living in the volcano. They pick up whatever they find in the volcano to adorn themselves. And this necklace reminds me the landscape you can see from the volcano close to the sea. And actually, it happens that everybody can see something in my pieces. I see here, I see the sea and the sky and the blue blossoms and the water, but someone else can say something else. And I like the idea that you can find every day something different in my pieces. The technique in this case is to find a very clean shape and working on the surface of the piece. But it's not just saying saying a story, making the piece. Is also being in a magic world when I make my pieces. I really like the atmosphere, that the feelings that that are when I'm on the bench working on my pieces, where there is no time, there is just me and a magic world.
Yeah, no,
And
I think I can definitely feel that and can relate to that when I see your jewelry, because it has a lot of, you can imagine that it has a lot of embedded stories inside that you can unlock, and not like, and it, as a viewer, it really wants you to understand what it's about, you know, like you really want to know where it's coming from, and also want to have that kind of feeling of empowerment by wearing yours. So it's actually really fascinating to hear where it's coming from.
I really like in your jewelry, I really like the contrast, the balance between two contrasting elements. And how do you reach this balance between, so this brooch is just amazing because of the contrast between that beautiful pearl and the rest of the brooch. And how did you reach this balance?
For me, this I'm always fascinated in this contrasting element when I'm dealing with concepts, you know, whether it being organic to geometric, solid to void, or just with the patterns smooth to rough surfaces. You know, like those kind of contrasting elements are very interesting in many ways, because from my previous sort of work environment, which is architecture, there's a lots of control in what we do, whereas I am intrigued to things which is a bit more free and organic as a contrast. And so when I'm actually sourcing the stones or choosing the pearls, I actually like starting from the rawness of it, or trying to find organic matter that has a rich in the organic sort of characters in itself. So this cashew pearl in itself has that kind of character. You know, cashew is a particular type of pearl that doesn't have a nucleus. So that means that it has the right to grow in wherever forms it wants. So this particular kind of shape, when I saw them, there was something quite intriguing about it. But then when I was actually trying to design around that, then I sort of wanted it to be balanced with the geometry, so that like instantly sort of that was sort of thinking about the sharpness, the coolness of the platinums, and also how I can then surround it with the glitters to actually enhance the soft sheen of the luster of the pearl. So that's where it sort of came from, like trying to find sort of dancing movement, as you say, like trying to find a balance within the two and try to see the contrasting, lay the contrasting elements, but see how it actually plays together. Talking about that, when I look at yours, you know, I can see the parallel theme there, you know, that your fascination and interest in the organic part of the process, which is unpredictable, yet it is very controlled in some ways. How do you describe your jewelry, and what type of process fascinates you most? And in line with your work, what materials are you most drawn to, or what are you most excited to work with?
I would describe my jewelry tactile and strong with a soft look. They are all one body with multiple elements together. I have to say that everything starts from the idea of the finished piece. And then there is the challenge to reach that goal, you know, the technical challenge that I like. I don't have a favorite element. I don't have a favorite metal. I have to say gold and bronze are perfect for me for the most sculptural pieces, like these rings, for example. Obviously, I like diamonds, as you can see, but I really like also to put the preciousness not as the main thing. You know, there are beautiful stones in these rings, but they are not the central thing. I really like to make something similar to nature, you know, where there are precious things, but random. Also, if, as you said, they're not random, you know, but the look is that. I also like silver because it's of its surface. I can play with the surface of silver. I work on, for example, on this scarf on the surface, making it looking like silk more than metal. And I like platinum for its light. And I discover now titanium, which is a very challenging metal to work with, but at the same time is very versatile for the color. You can reach very different colors. Of course, I love pearls because they're round and they have a fantastic light. And also I love cabochons. Everything is round. Then my favorites are glass granules because with glass granules I can do my glass granulation, which allows the light to go through the surface of my pieces, creating this silky fabric, precious fabric look. I love it. I love the most important thing for me is to play with light, and this helps me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely sense that from your cuffling, your cuff. Yeah, and I think I must say this is one of my favorite piece, just because of the amount of complexity that it has, but also how natural it looks. But actually looking at it from the technical point of view, it's actually, I understand that it's not easy to create that kind of balance and homogeneity, like with a lot of elements. So yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite pieces.
Thank you very much. It is completely different than what fascinates me on your pieces that have that clean perfection. And I really like, you see, like, how do you reach that clean perfection? That I don't think it's so easy to reach that result.
I think the clean perfection, I think it's an illusion, to be fair. I mean, it has a lot of sort of mock-ups and the previous attempts that you're not seeing, so it looks clean and perfect. But when I actually make these things, it does take me a lot of time, and I do spend a lot of time sort of experimenting various proportions, and there's various steps that is involved in it. So especially dealing with this brooch, the stone that I've used is called ice jade. So it has a very nice kind of transparent qualities to it.
Very charming.
Is like, which is very interesting stone to work with. It almost feels a bit like it's a morning dew. Like it almost feels like it's a water droplets. So I wanted to capture that sort of organic elements of it, but then like I say, you know, I liked playing with the contrasting element. So when I was actually designing the body, the wire I've used triangulation form, which sort of makes everything look much sharper. Therefore, it's actually accentuating the stone much more than the body itself, because I wanted the body to have that weight, but also wanted that to look as slim as possible. So for me, the triangular shape profile was a natural kind of shape to use that. But then that meant that I had to sort of come up with an interesting ways of doing the claw setting, not from the traditional sort of claw setting. So I was sort of finding ways to make that also look almost invisible. You know, so there is a lot of steps in silver mock-up that did that, and also with this I couldn't really find clasp from the ready-made clasp that was available, so I had to relearn how to create a clasp that could fit to this particular design. So there's normally a lot of process involved in it, but I enjoy that because that means I am testing new ideas and sort of venturing into this unknown. Which is quite fascinating. But at the end, I always want to create something that looks simple and easy. So, you know, all that efforts look effortless. And I think maybe your remarks about the cleanliness and perfection maybe comes a little bit from that effort. Yeah, but it's an overrated compliment. So like I thought it would be really interesting to close our conversation by understanding your view on the artisan role in this digital world that we are in. You know, that this COVID pandemic unfortunately has brought us to be digital this year, but that didn't mean that we were staying in that digital world. And I think we as creatives and artisans instantly react to that and saying we are going to create this as personal and humane as possible. And you can definitely sense that from the efforts that we are putting both in this conversation. But I would like to really hear about your views of the future of the artisan's role in this coming technological world that we will embark on.
I think that, I think that the artisan is essential, now more than ever, because we are all human. We need connection, feeling, touch, and we just suffer if there is lack of communication. Then art, as jewelry, design jewelry is essential for our mental health, our souls. And when someone has these wearable sculptures, they just satisfy their taste. A piece of jewelry gives pleasure and joy and memories, and this is essential for anybody. And I think the Goldsmiths do a great job giving us the opportunity to talk about us, to talk about our passion, and to give to all jewelry passionate people the opportunity to know us more, to know us better. And yes, I think the human interaction is always the most important thing. We have just to find new ways to interact. And this is one of the possibilities we have to connect. Then welcome to Zoom and to whatever we need to connect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and also, you know, like I would like to also highlight the fact that whatever that we make, and it's also about sharing our passion, but it's also sort of delivering a service for others to have that sensation when they're taking part of, you know, taking and wearing part of our creations. And it's a kind of circular loop that we always try to create, you know. So that's really important, I think. Yeah. Thank you very much, Francesca, for organizing this wonderful talk. And of course, our information is more in our sort of social media, Instagrams, and our websites, and also, of course, at the Goldsmiths Fair website that highlights all our work alongside other great exhibitors for this fair. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a conversation with everyone if they have any further questions on each of us.
Thank you very much, Yeena. Thank you, and bye-bye, everyone. See you soon.
See you
Bye.
soon.